Oh, good morning. It's a beautiful morning, but the clouds are just starting to come over. The sun's just rising. Some fishermen there. The sea is beautiful. I just love the quiet this time of day. Industry is still going on. Life does go on, doesn't it? So I'm just still working on proofing this Parousia book of life. I think I still need to add in a little bit more. It's it's ever such a lot to do when you're doing it. I'm self-publishing, but I also feel it's really quite timely to get some of this work out. So maybe you can leave me a comment. Shall I upload it as it is now and then do a second edition with a bit more? Or shall I do a bit more and then upload it? I suppose I have so much work, it's I'm probably not going to fit it all in one book anyway. But yeah, so this is looking at that healing aspect of Christ's love. So we have the pattern revealed through the gemstones and the names of the sons of Israel, providing a 12 squared consciousness, which I realised when I was I had a shortfall on one of these at one point in time, and as I was studying it, I realised that going right through the centre of all of this is truth and trust, and also the courage. We have the courage to face our truths for healing, because the pain is caused by something that causes us pain and activates our conscious stress response and all the defence mechanisms, and suddenly we go out of truth. Then our energy becomes involved in suppression, repression, and yeah. And then substances might be used to liberate the feelings, to get away from them, uncomfortable feelings. When really, if we face that truth and put it through a conscious grieving process, a mourning process, a letting go, then we can be liberated from them. This is something I've seen in my work time and time again. Oh, isn't this stone beautiful, the calcite running through there? You can just see little crystals gleaming in the dawn sun. So I hope this book is a new dawn for light. It's certainly intended for that. I do find I think a bit differently to quite a lot of people, which can be quite hard at times. But I wouldn't change it for the world. So, yeah, I think I put a photo up of this at some point in time, but I just thought I'd look at the putting Galatians 5 into just a sort of illustrative form here, really. So the Galatians 5 talks about the traits of the flesh, And I remember when I first read this scripture, it just jumped out at me that, well, gosh, here we've got all the stress hormone going on. And then it contrasts or follows on with Galatians 22, the fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, faith, kindness, mildness, goodness, patience, self-control. Oh, see, I need a capital there. All leading to peace. So it all makes it very, very clear. And even you could say, I know hell has been renounced, but you've even got heaven. And personally, I would say that hell is when you have a conflict, when your mind just, there's no peace, it won't rest, it's going on and on and on. Naphtali talk, that's the meaning of the name Naphtali, the wrestlings. So we just have to seek the right way out of those turmoils. And of course, fleshly traits, and, conflict, strife, anger, jealousy. I think it talks about drunkenness. It's a very divided, split, conflict, gnashing of teeth. It talks about that in Revelation. Thrown into the lake of sulphur, which of course I look at the sulphur in here as well, and how sulphur is significant to our health and well-being. And sulphur has the effect of stabilising the proteins that our body makes. We're made up of 25% sulphur. That surprised me. And it's a major detoxing element. So that ability to be able to detox, to let go of toxins, rubbish, to keep us healthy. Some people say we are what we eat, but actually we are what we don't eliminate. And the elimination process at every level, mind and body, and emotional if they're negative, toxic, is the only way to move through those discomforts. And sulphur is significant. If you look at the homeopathy model, sulphur is significant in every aspect of disease. So yeah, looking at the 7 spirits of God, discerned from Revelation, I came up with love, faith, discernment, the right order for consciousness, for brotherly love and friendship in a moral way, and acceptance for receiving communion and unity for joy. I've got that illustrated in there. What do you see in that picture? Do you see a cup, or do you see the faces? And again, I remember when I first saw that image, it was so clear to me. That looks to me like the Holy Grail, the challenge, the chalice, the cup of love. And it's between people, it's between us. And it's that love between one another. As God said, to love God, whose his love is moral. If we love God and love others, and love self, he said, then you have a perfect measure for everybody having contentment and fulfillment. We don't need to be martyrs anymore. But it's a complete mind, body, spirit of wholeness through love. And that love has connectedness. And whether that's just because we're mammals and we have connections, from growing a baby to feeding a baby to loving our babies and children and being with them. Those things are all formed in those early life years. And I lost a lot of those, which I think is why I've sought them in my life. So for me, it's been a constant searching for that connection. And oh, I can see a sundog up there. Might not be so clear. So yeah, so that's where a lot of my work has come from, seeking what I didn't have. So I do know, and of course when you have it, it's taken for granted. So consciousness is a funny thing, isn't it? Okay, so that's my little bit on Galatians 5:19 to 22. And if we seek the fruits, life doesn't need to be so complicated. I think in health and wellness as well, so much of my work is done through emotional processing, and I know there's loads of scientific processes going on, some of which we know, but we don't know them all. But if we can just set the emotions right and seek that spirit, find the joy and happiness, then is that not the purpose of life, really? I think we are designed to be healthy, happy beings, and we cause many of our own pain and destruction. And some people blame God, but actually it's all the choices that we make. It really doesn't need to be hunger and people starving, does that? I'm not sure. But there needs to be any of the suffering that we see that is caused by misdirection of money. And if people don't suffer, then perhaps they don't war so much. Anyway, I hope the world does find some peace and love again, and I hope that Jesus Christ is the returner of that joy and faith. May he come quickly for healing all nations, all people. We're all human. There is no divisions with God's love. We are all one through love. Have a great day.